All right, so I'm recording now, but I know I'm in the car and I'm gonna go through some patchy spots, but I figured let's do the recent little Bitcoin dip in the market.
Okay.
Okay, so it's interesting that it was called yesterday on I put it on my Patreon, so I finally had some to seriously offer. So just to recap what you and I were talking off camera, my personal trading method is I use technical analysis guys, and then I get the remote viewing predictions. And when all the predictions align, then I make a heavy bet. But if there's no alignment, then I just kind of wait and see, and I'm patient about it. So I put out yesterday that there's just going to be a big dip on the Patreon, on my Patreon, for like $1 or whatever, and I'm just doing a victory lap now. So, but what I wanted to do with you is kind of gain a little bit more insight to the Bitcoin dip to see what you see, and to just kind of paint a bigger picture of the rest of November.
Mm, mm. Well, it's funny because I posted on my Patreon about the lost dog that turned up at my house yesterday and was here the whole day, and it took up my whole time, all my day, because I was trying to make sure this dog didn't run away again. He was clearly lost, very well taken care of, very well groomed, very well fed. And so I wasn't able to do any predictions yesterday until last night. But by that time, Bitcoin had already tanked. So you see how that, even that little dog, or I say little, he was quite big. He's a money block for everybody, right? Because Liz was so consumed with this dog, Liz didn't put out a prediction. So that's how money blocks can appear. Now, is this as a result of this Ethereum whale? No, I don't feel it is.
Well, that's okay. So when the whale moved, I think it was like $5 or $6 billion on a Kraken, that was a sign that they're gonna dump. And if they haven't dumped it yet, then that's also not good. That means it's still hanging over our heads. And when everyone sees that, the big people, they start liquidating their crypto assets, just anticipating that someone's going to make a big hard sell, a market sale that's just going to dip the price super low, and then they scoop it up. And I have some technical analysis foresight right now, but I'm going to keep you in the dark on it because I want to see what comes out of your predictions, and then fill you in on the end.
I
So,
have the whale here. Have you sold a lot of, you're the Ethereum whale? Yes, I am. Have you sold a lot of the Ethereum? No, only a very tiny amount. Why did you move it onto the Kraken exchange to get ready to sell? So you haven't really offloaded. No. Are you going to offload in large amounts? Absolutely not.
when do you intend on offloading it?
When do you intend on offloading it? Tomorrow. Are you going to offload in a big? No, he's just doing small amounts at a time.
Well, okay. So small amounts at a time for like the month of November or for several months?
To small amounts for the month of November? No, going forward into what? December? Yes, and January, as long as it takes to offload. Do you have a maximum per day? No, he's watching the market. So obviously he's not going to offload while it's at its lowest point.
Did does he is did he know that his moving the wallet onto the exchange was going to dip the market down a little bit?
Did you know that moving your wallet onto the Kraken exchange was going to dip the market down? Yes, he knew it was possible. Yes. So why didn't you move in smaller increments? Because he pays taxes. Okay. Now, do you pay taxes? Because I found this out last weekend, that there are exchanges in different countries that every time you make a transaction, you have to pay taxes on that transaction. Okay. So are you in a country that makes you pay taxes on each transaction? Yes. Okay, so
Is he in the
that'll be
United
why.
States?
Sorry,
Is he in the United States?
are you in the US? No.
Okay, so why are you selling the Ethereum?
Why are you selling the Ethereum? Because he wants out of cryptos.
Why?
Why do you want out of cryptos? My money can do more elsewhere.
Where?
Where are you going to put your money? You're going to invest it? Okay, what are you going to invest in? He's got lots of businesses he wants to invest in. Are you going to start your own businesses? Yes. And then he's also he wants to put it in property. He wants to have he wants a property empire, he just said.
Okay. All right. So, but it might be like a race to see who does it first, where people saw that he's on the exchange, and now other people are moving their money onto exchanges too, their cryptos onto exchanges. So even if he doesn't do it, there could be other whales, so to speak, that just begin to try to be the first to sell it with the anticipation that it's gonna, crash.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but he's smart. He's gonna do in small increments. Like he's not, he's made his money. Okay. So I feel like he's already made a ton of money off of cryptos. He has. And he just now has decided that he thinks that his money could be doing more elsewhere. And so he wants to just offload in small increments. But that movement, I feel like he had to pay tax on that movement.
All right, so let's drop the whale. Let's look into
Drop the whale.
throw him back in the water.
Throw it back in the water with the fish.
Yeah, it's drying out. So how about we look into the month of November and see the energy of Bitcoin?
It feels very strong. I mean, even now it feels very strong. Why has Bitcoin? Let me look into this. I'm going to group all the cryptos as a whole because everything's down. I'm going to group all the cryptos as a whole, and I'm just going to do the whole market. Why are you down? People are trying to offload. Okay, why are they trying to offload? They want to be able to sell it in time. So they are afraid that there's going to be a massive dip in the market. Yes, exactly. And they're afraid that.
What about China? The recent news from China. Was China part of it?
Is China a big part of it? No, I don't feel China is a big part of it. I think this is a global watch.
Well, China banned did another ban on crypto mining. I don't follow it, but that's the gist of it, where they further outlawed cryptocurrency mining.
And if the entire globe outlaws crypto like China has, then cryptos are worthless.
So going back to but it's getting more and more accepted, in the United States and otherwise, like they're classifying it properly in the IRS. So it's not like China where they you can't make that kind of decision right now because they've already authenticated it, So anyways, so putting that
Craig,
aside,
I have to ask you, I have to ask you, are you going to stand in the road and direct traffic? Is that why you have that neon top on? Oh, now he's frozen. Oh God. I've lost him. Look, he's got his high visibility jacket or shirt on. It just makes me think he's going to go stand in the road and direct traffic. Yeah. Okay. Your turn. Come forward. Come forward. Yeah. Stop. Stay back. Stay back. Oh dear. Bad reception. No. So where were we? So that this whole grouping of the entity of the cryptos, because that's a separate energy. It's basically, is it because of the whale movement? No. So the whale movement didn't cause the dump. It's the anticipation of the whale movement that caused the dump. Okay, yes. You see how when you're communicating with spirit and, you know, things like this, everything is absolutely literal. It has to be watertight. You see how they correct me? No, it's the anticipation. Okay, because the way I worded it was like that the whale had already dumped. No, it was the anticipation. So you believe that the small man has had a sell off? No. Okay, here's the clarification. So you're telling me that it's the other whales that are dumping? Yes. That's what's
Okay,
caused this.
so what about the month of November from your standpoint, or if you want to ask the entity you created from today, looking at the end of November, and then maybe from after that we could do a time movement to see if it's going to further decline. Because you saw it at the end of November. I did.
Yeah, I still think there's going to be a flat to low part towards the end of November, not for very long, maybe like maybe 3 days. It's not going to be anything. It's not a flash crash. So let's move to the end of November. So I'm going to move this. I'm grouping the cryptos all as a whole. And I'm saying, let's move to the date of November 30th, 2021. Okay, they've confirmed that. See, this is where I'm doing all the remote viewing in my head. Okay, we're just not putting it down on paper. We're putting it down on a voice record. So are there any more flash crashes? What's today's date, Craig?
The 16th, November 16th.
So from November 16th, 2021 to November 30th, 2021, say 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, have there been any more flash crashes? 2. Okay. And have those been towards the end of the month? Okay, so roughly they're telling me, now this isn't to be taken as set in stone, right? But roughly after the 20th of the month, there's going to be a couple of like strong dips.
Okay, so would you say, can we ask it if it's going to go in the 40s at any point during this month?
Bitcoin going to go in the 40s? No, I don't feel that it is.
The 50s?
Is it going to go in the 50s? Well, it's already done that, but is it going to go back down into the 50s? It may skim around or skirt around the edge of like 59.60, but is it going to go significantly down in the 50s? Is it going to go significantly down in the 50s? It won't. No.
Because, okay, so we're only talking about 59 being the lowest point. Something like that. Or 55, because the 59 is a support line. And then the next support line before that is unclear. 48 is a very strong support line as well.
Yeah, I would say, I was just about to say 48. It flashed in my head before you said it.
So 48 could be a support line to set a buy, a limit order at just for this month. And then you could just, it's all uphill from there, assumingly. Or is that too low?
Is that too low to set a limit order at 48? Yes.
It's tricky because, when we do number price predictions, the numbers don't come in perfect.
No, they don't come in perfect, but you can get a gauge. But this is the thing. If you're trying to short and buy like that, you just further complicate the matter. You know what I mean? Like it's very complex when you start doing things like that, because you can lose it. Isn't it the case that if you short and it doesn't happen, you lose your money?
No, it's that you're not shorting it. You're setting a limit order. So you're buying at a low price. So you could sleep, and then, knowing that there's going to be a little crash, you could buy it on the lowest point. Because there's, how it dips and then it kind of recovers a little bit. So everyone knows where those support lines are, because it's all public. Like you could see everyone's orders on the market. So, okay, well, there's like 1 million at the time, the support level. That's how it works. So you can literally see it on the open market. And then of course people do chart reading, which, you know, further solidifies those the
Oh, we lost you again. He's frozen.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Can you hear
yeah,
you?
you're in and out. So
What
then
about
you're saying the
December?
financial analysis, but here's the thing. I know that some of the groups are putting out financial analysis, you know, and I'm finding that when you pinpoint the financial analysis within the terms of remote viewing and within the framework of remote viewing, the financial analysis is wrong.
Yeah, it's not 100%, just like remote viewing, it's not 100%, but when they align, and especially when multiple technical analysis sources align, it increases the overall probability to where I've personally just had success.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I would say in order to, so this is what I see, because I hear like, okay, the financial analysis put out that maybe this week there's going to be a flash crash, okay, and then you'll get like 3 maybe financial analysis putting that out, but then they're not telling you exactly which day there's going to be a flash crash. They're not telling you like the time frame. It's just the probability of a flash crash, whereas remote viewing can actually pinpoint, okay, so you can view a period of time. So say for instance, I view from like 8 a.m. Eastern time to 5 p.m. Eastern time. And then I asked that, you know, I asked within that time frame the question of, is there going to be a flash crash of not only Bitcoin, but all cryptos? Then you can nail down the time. So the problem is there's too many predictions coming out and everybody's listening to all the predictions. So for instance, I got the lunar moon was going to bring this and the full moon's going to bring that, and then somebody posted today and they're and quite innocently said, well, this is the full moon crash. Well, no, it's not, because the full moon is on the 19th. So to me, knowing that when you are communicating in the matrix and with the matrix, they take everything literally. So all this guessing about, you know,
Well,
it could be this
wait.
week and that week.
Let's not
It,
get sidetracked. So you have the entity there, and let's go to December, because we did November. Now we know November is going to have some weak moments from what
mm-hmm.
we've learned. Is it going to then ascend from December onward, or are we going to be in this kind of shaky, maybe perhaps uptrend where there's going to be further dips? Can we check December and see if it's like a strong month for Bitcoin?
Okay, so you just want Bitcoin only? Okay,
To me,
so
Bitcoin is the market setter on all this stuff. I mean, you could do cryptos as well, but it's more accurate, in my opinion, with Bitcoin.
okay, so let's throw everybody else away and let's just put Bitcoin in. So Bitcoin, okay, very rude, very masculine. What do you want? Uh, Somebody addressed Bitcoin as she on the Patreon. I was like, no, it's definitely got a masculine personality, masculine energy, but that was very polite of them.
Oh, I love
So
that. We have to
yeah,
channel Bitcoin at length and ask questions like that.
yeah, you can. I mean, the thing is, it's very masculine. It's very alpha male, actually. But they were so polite. They put she. Did she not? And I was like, wow, that's so sweet. And so sort of attuned to the modern day political correctness. It was very funny. It was really sweet. They know who I'm talking about. I know they're listening. That was very sweet. I laughed when I saw that.
It should be a they them if you think about it, but okay, whatever.
No, but you know, as far as like energy is concerned, Bitcoin is a very alpha male masculine energy, very much so. It's kind of like that little dog that I say little, that brute that turned up at my house yesterday, Roscoe. Very, very alpha male. But anyway, so let me let me group Bitcoin. December. So this is again where I'm going to do the remote viewing in my head for all those naysayers out there. Okay. So what do you want to ask?
The month of December.
Month of December, has it
How
been good for you? Yes, month of December has been very positive. How so? It gained. Did you get into the 70s? Did you hit 70? You hit higher than 70. Okay, did you hit 75? It's right. Yeah, it goes into the 70s. Do you hit 80? So I feel like it may actually touch 80, right? As soon as it gets into that 80-ish point, it's a massive sell-off, okay? Because people have made money there and then they want to rebuy at the dip. So I feel, did it touch to 80 and 82? Around 81. Okay. So I feel like it's gonna really gain some steam and then it may touch like 80. But you have to understand it's not gonna stay there. Okay. It's not, it's gonna be bam up there and immediately straight back down.
So what about moving into January 2022?
Let me move it. Okay. So here I go again, doing the remote viewing in my head. Okay. What do you want to know?
The is the overall month a strong month for the increase in price of Bitcoin?
So overall month, a very strong month. Yes, extremely strong.
What's the highest point?
What's the highest
of
point?
Bitcoin?
What's the highest point of Bitcoin? Are you going into like 85? Yeah, it touches, it may touch 85.
Okay, and let's move it to March. This will be the last one we do.
Okay, because you know this really tires me out.
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so we'll do March.
March 30th. Okay, I'm doing the remote viewing in my head again. Okay, what do you want to know?
How is the overall Bitcoin market for March?
How is the overall Bitcoin market for March? Very strong.
What's the highest price point?
What's the highest price point of Bitcoin in March? Did it touch 90? Yeah, it's gonna probably touch 90.
Okay. Okay. Are there any like major dips, like say 6% or more from December 2021 to March
2021 to March 30th, 2022. You little bitty ones, yeah. There's always going to be little dips, but are there going to be flash crashes? And yeah, there's going to be a few like little flash crashes, but everybody needs to understand that it's a good time to buy. I look at flash crashes as like a privilege. Well, actually, okay, so on the Patreon, we defined crash as to be 30% or more. Okay. A correction, they said, is 5 to 10% or even 20%. 30% considered a crash. Even what's happened today is not technically a crash, but I think a significant dip, overall in the cryptos is, it's a bit of a downer. But then the way I see it is, it's a great opportunity to buy because there are so many coins out there that people want to buy, but they can't because they're priced too high. Some of them have dropped significantly. So if there's a handful of coins that you wanted to grab, then now is the time to grab them. So I think of these downturns as a fantastic buying opportunity.
I have a question. So for me personally, I don't use leverage because I would do it with like $1,000 or something like that. But if one were to use leverage, because I know a lot of the people who follow you and I are leveraging because you have less money. What would be the best month from December to March to do a leverage, a margin for a long, a long position, expecting the Bitcoin price to increase?
January.
Okay, not March. Okay, so January. Okay, and this is coming from Spirit, or this is coming from the entity, the Bitcoin entity?
Bitcoin entity. Let me ask, do you want me to ask Spirit? Let me ask.
Yeah.
Let me do, so now I'm going to do remote viewing again in my head, but I'm doing it to Spirit. How should we check? Ingo Swan? Let's check Ingo Swan. Why
Yeah.
not?
Someone,
I love
someone who's not
channeling
in,
Ingo Swan.
someone who's not into Bitcoin, or cryptos.
Remote viewing. They may not know who Ingo Swan is. Ingo Swan is the founder of remote viewing. So if we go in and I love channeling Ingo Swan because he's
Me
always
too.
smoking.
I do
He
like him.
smokes. He smokes like a chimney. He's still smoking. So let's ask Ingo Swan because he'll know what we're looking for, right? So he thinks cryptos are crazy, by the way. And so I'm saying to him, can you identify if we give you some times and movements? Yes. Okay. Of course. He says, of course, Liz. Of course. What are we asking? Oh, we're asking Spirit. What is the most beneficial time to do a long position with Bitcoin? Is it going to be December 2021? No. January 2022. Now he's saying January going into February.
Okay.
March?
But what
No.
would it be
January
like?
going into February.
January like 15th going into February, because you get charged every day as you have those positions opened.
January 15th going into beginning of February. No, after that. Okay. January 25th going into, yeah. So possibly around that last week. Listen, and what we need to tell people, because they're hanging on our every word, is it's up to you to use your discernment. This is for psychic entertainment purposes only. This is not official financial advice. This is not trading advice. This is Liz and Craig probing the spirit world and probing entities just for entertainment. Okay, so what do you want to know, Craig?
When are the best opportunities to buy Bitcoin, to enter in the market from now until the end of March of 2022?
When are the best opportunities from now until the end of March? I keep getting January 25th-ish.
But that would be a higher price, right? Because that's when it starts to run. Okay. Anyways, we asked Ingo about cryptos, but now you have Ingo Swan. Just as a side note, how does one increase their ability to open up their psychic abilities so that people can be more like you, Liz?
Oh, that's such a trick
From Ingo.
question.
No, from Ingo. From Ingo. Listen, he's
From
developed
Ingo.
it himself. He developed it himself, and it seems to work.
Okay, Ingo was very psychic before he went to remote viewing.
Of
He
course,
was
but
extremely psychic. He
I
didn't
know,
go to remote viewing to become psychic.
I know, but he still developed remote viewing for the individual, for the soldier, not for the psychic, so they didn't have to rely on them. They could just get, your average person. And don't forget, the secretary for Russell Targ ended up being the most prominent remote viewer and even was more accurate than Pat Price. So from, maybe they're not like you, but from a remote viewing standpoint, the protocols and entering into a blind, there was tremendous success with it. So maybe the question is not formed perfectly, and it goes against your thing, because you don't want people to waste their money trying to become psychic, and take those courses. But from Ingo's perspective in the spirit world, what does he think?
What do you think? Practice.
Yeah. Practice your intuition or practice remote viewing?
Practice remote viewing or practice intuition? Intuition.
Does
Practice
CTT,
intuition.
this past life therapy, does that make it better? Does that make your remote viewing better?
Does CTT make your remote viewing better? Yes.
Why?
Okay. Why? Because it raises your consciousness. Okay, I get. So, George Duzman, he created the CTT. Unfortunately, George isn't very well,
Wait,
so
wait,
he's
wait.
not
Well,
doing a lot of
before,
stuff. Hold on. And he's not very well, so he can't do a lot right now. But he will always tell you of this guy named Peter who was remote viewing, and he did 30 rapid fire CTT sessions, I think one a day, and he was remote viewing. His skills had improved so much by the end of 30 rapid fire sessions that George says he was remote viewing better than most people on the planet. He was actually reading cards and reading things that were way, at a distance. So according to George Duisman, he's already run an experiment like that, and it works. I agree. I have done well over 200, going into probably 220, 230 sessions of CTT for myself. And I can honestly say, from the time I started to even to this day, that my psychic ability has significantly improved. Now, if you're just a medium and all you can do is channel, then it's not going to help you. But if you do have some intuitive ability, where you can feel energy, or you do have some psychic ability, then it can help you. For some reason, the psychic and the medium part are totally separate. Okay. Because if you're a medium, you can just channel. It doesn't necessarily make you a better channeler if that's all you can do. But if you do have some ability, absolutely. But you have to work at it. It's not a one-hit wonder. It's an ongoing process. It
okay,
does transform your life.
so back to Ingo Swan, he's
Mm.
saying that CTT increases your ability to remote view, and it raises your consciousness, right? So my
Yes.
theory is, right, this is what I led with in the beginning. when when you increase and when you're exposed to negativity, it presumably lowers your ability to for accuracy on predictions and for remote viewing. At least the average person. I'm not really sure if that counts with you, because you have, it's a little, you have the edge of being a natural psychic. But I have a feeling that when you're doing CTT and you start, for example, reducing your anxiety or reducing your major issues that you have going on, that opens up your clarity, your abilities, and it kind of. So that's what I wanted to ask him, if that was what it was. So if CTT increases your psychic abilities, like, does negativity do the opposite? Is it inverse?
Yes.
That's what he says.
Yes.
So it's the
Absolutely.
so a CTT just essentially like the inverse of negativity, where it's just making you more positive or eliminating
Well,
your problems?
it clears out the negative stuff. Okay. Because I understand how this is going. Like attracts
Yes.
like. Okay. So
Okay.
positivity attracts positivity, negativity attracts negativity. But what happens is, and I've said this before, when we come down, at the tunnel into our mother's womb, we're 100% complete soul. Okay. So we
Okay.
come down. That's why babies are so happy. They just laugh for no reason. But what happens is they, even at the birth trauma, going into, and even traumatic events that happen while, in the womb of the mother. Okay. All those little traumas and all those little negative experiences, they chip away at your soul. So because we're 100% complete energetic beings, we have to have the energy exchange. So every time something bad happens to us, even from when we're little, it takes a little piece of the goodness out, which is the good positive energy, and it puts the bad energy in, because you have to be 100% full of energy. Okay, in order to operate. Even if you're very, very ill, it just means that you've had a big chunk of the good energy taken out and the bad, the bad energy put in. It just depends for each person. So when you're doing the CTT, what you're doing is you're clearing out the negative energy that sticks. I mean, and negativity sticks to you like glue. I'm not kidding. And you have to pull out the negative energy, and then you replace it with positive energy. And therefore, because that exercise alone expands your consciousness, that's what, according to Ingo, makes your connectivity better. It's the consciousness. When you have like anxiety, fear, if you are too emotionally attached to the tasking or whatever, you can't, it's not going to be as good. And also, it depends who you're doing the tasking for. So say, for instance, we're going to do tasking for day traders, okay? Day traders that trade with their own money, which is a disaster, especially in the crypto world. And say we're doing a tasking for them, right? Just the day traders alone, their frantic, nerve-wracking, money-hungry energy enters into the signal lines of the prediction, and guess what it does to the prediction? It gives you bad information, right? Because all their money blocks come in. People think that they can override the soul's money blocks with their conscious mind. You cannot do that, right? You can't do it. And that's what happens. So again, it depends there's all sorts of complexities in a prediction. If you're doing a prediction for day traders that trade with their own money, most likely it's going to fail. I do predictions for day traders that trade somebody else's money, so it doesn't matter to them, and plus they have a lot of money, and they stick within the guidelines. They only trade like a very small percentage of that massive pot of money. They're very successful, and my predictions are very successful because they are not emotionally attached to the prediction at all.
So one thing that we forgot to cover, huge, is when we were channeling Bitcoin as an entity, is what happens to it from in 2023, of why it disappears.
What happens? Let me move it to, can I move you to June? Are you there? I'm like trying to nail down a time, right? That I can, because if the energy is no longer there, you can't talk to it. So, are you there for 2023? No, we vanished. Okay. So are you there for January 1st, 2023? Yes. Okay. January 1st, 2023, you're there. What about February 1st, 2023? Are you there? Yes, still there. What about March 1st, 2023? Are you still there? See, I get this all the time.
What is the price in February?
What is the price of February 1st, 2023? What is it? 112?
So it looks like it's not, it just vanishes instantly. It's not like a descending price. 112 is high. If you told me like 20,000 or something, I would have thought, oh, okay, there's like a sell off. Can we ask it what happens to it?
What happens? Well, it no longer exists, so it doesn't really know.
And it doesn't have a soul, so we can't ask it in the afterlife.
Right, exactly. So it's not a right, exactly. So that's the difference between living, breathing, or once living, breathing souls and just rounding up energy,
So
right? The
can we
energy
go
doesn't
back?
have a soul, but it has a consciousness.
Can we go to February and ask if it knows it's about to be suicided?
Murdered, suicided. I don't know if it could. Do you commit suicide? No.
Well,
It's
no,
taken away
suicided
from
means
us.
someone killed you and made it look like you killed yourself. But what does it know it's about to disappear?
Do you know you're about to disappear? No idea. And this could be wrong. This could be, you know, this could be the dark entering into the prediction, trying to scare the hell out of everybody so they pull out, right? And then nothing happens. That's happened before too, right?
I have
Where
I have
people have
another.
made predictions.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Where people make predictions, okay, prominent groups have done that, where and then everybody throws all their money into that prediction, the prediction crashes, they lose all their money. That's a tool of the dark. So fear mongering is a tool of the dark, and basically this trying to nail down this, what's going to happen, that's all very dark. That's all very, if whether it's stolen, whether it's, just regulated or whatever, it's a very dark movement. Some people are calling it the Black Swan event. I don't know who came up with that name, but Black Swan event is kind of cool. I like that
Well,
terminology.
well, there's there's another angle to play, but I think we should make a new video to just kind of, because this one was on the crash and then we're getting into the end of Bitcoin. I think I should stop this one here and then start a new recording.
Okay.
Okay, let me stop this one here.